Yeah. 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 So many lies that you hear from the net, they don't get her respect. She reporting the truth, not a check. You want an unbiased opinion straight from the chest, not a bit accomplice or someone here for a check. Tune in, these are thoughts from a lawyer on a mission who goes so hard it's like she works on commission. Trolls in the comments might say she tripping cause they lack the knowledge. They don't know they missing. Got a couple current events that you like. Wanna know about law from the eyes. Tired of all these blogs running lies because their agendas are disguised. Tune in to the intellect, cause I'm sure y'all missing all the facts of the case that she steady is gifting. Someone here for the people, man, it's so uplifting. If you ain't subscribed yet, then you just omitting facts.
Hello, everyone. It is Pam Esquire, also known as Your Law Intellect. We are back. I told you if anything pops off, then I am going to pop back on. And this is what is happening on today. We all know that Diddy has a third shot tomorrow at a hearing for bond. And so we've already went over the initial motion for bond and the government's responses. Well, Diddy, as you guys saw in the membership, filed a document to try to, he wants to reply to the motion, but he said he can't do it in the little bit of pages you're supposed to do a reply in. So he was asking for additional pages for his reply. The judge granted that, but told him next time, I'm going to need you to do this in a more timely fashion. Okay. However, the judge allowed it. And so shortly thereafter, Diddy's team filed a reply. And a reply it is. So we are going to get into it because I didn't read the whole thing, but I read like the first page so that I can know what to put on the video title. That's pretty much all I read. And there is an allegation that there's a full video of this incident with Cassie, and that the way it's being depicted and the way it was released to the public is exactly how Diddy said it happened. But this video we saw is somewhat altered because it does not show the entire incident. And so what the government what Diddy's attorneys have done is they have submitted to the court under seal the full video. And then it sounds like, but we'll get into that they may have gotten an expert that is willing to testify as to the full video. Somebody said, how was the video altered if he apologized? I'm just going to let you think on that for yourself. But I'm going to pull this up. Before I get started, I haven't done any memberships in a minute for free. So let me pull this up right fast. Let me get y'all some membership gifting going on here. And maybe I'll do 10 free memberships so y'all can know what's going on over there. All right. Congratulations in advance to all of you guys that got free memberships. I appreciate you. Check us out and see if you like our membership. Hit the like button on the way in. That would be fantastic. I got to start being a little bit more formalized with what let's see. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share to let Lottie Dottie and everybody know that we are on. All righty. You're welcome. You guys get those memberships and eat those memberships out. We got a lot going on in the membership. We got somebody that didn't almost matched it, baby. Thank you, Jackson Tabasco, gifted 5 memberships. I appreciate that. We got 15 new members off of this live. Appreciate that. He apologized because I mean, obviously he hit the lady. I mean, I don't think that's what he's done. I don't think he's denying striking her. I think he's denying the context of the entire situation, is what it looks like to me. You can't deny seeing him grab her by her hair and kicking her. Now, he had a whole scenario where he gave the entire situation according to Diddy, but we didn't have any video of that. So they're alleging they have video that the government has had all along, which will show the entirety of the situation. June's poetry, matching energy. Thank you so much. We got 5 more new members. Welcome to the Intellects. Make sure you thank all of the individuals. You don't have to thank me, but all the other individuals that gave you guys memberships, make sure you thank them. Oh, it is. Isn't it cool? We always trying to, give. It's better to give than to receive. I see y'all coming in. I'm gonna give you a chance. Give YouTube a little bit of a moment because I did come on earlier. I've been coming on now. Only time I didn't come on was yesterday. But you guys got to give me my props now. You guys always going in on me in them comments. Like, it would be nice if you would come on a little bit more than you do. So I need y'all to acknowledge that your girl been out here trying to bring it to you as she gets it this week. And I can't guarantee I'll be like that. Then tomorrow is the actual bond hearing. So I got to come on for that. I was really trying to figure out how I could go to New York and potentially watch it, Shoot, but that ain't gonna work. So I got a hearing in the morning. I'm really doing too much if I make it to New York. So that's not gonna work. Thank you, Black Swan. Thank y'all. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Vintage 1970. Happy birthday to you. May the good Lord bless you. May the good Lord bless you. May the good Lord bless you. In the name of the songwriter Stevie Wonder, happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. That's our song. That's our song. That's what we do when we say happy birthday. Bumper full video. We've seen enough. Diddler. That's from One on One, who been a member for 8 months. So she's very, very well versed in this Diddy. She been here for 8 months. She is very well versed about what's going on with Diddy. And she said, bump a video. We've seen enough, Diddler. And she got them exclamation points. So she's saying that with emotion. Brown Mama 3186 said he did say that she was hitting him before the beatdown. Yeah, that's what he was saying. And everybody was like, whatever. Because that's just part of his argument with her. They had a toxic relationship. Because somebody asked me, is it true that Diddy is trying to say that Cassie wasn't a victim? I don't think that has ever not somewhat been the defense they've given, is that it was just a toxic relationship that went both ways. And then that's why they were adding information about she tried to get money out of him. She was willing to not go public at all if he would have just paid her that $30 million. And then allegedly she said she needed money for her little family. And this was the way she was going to do it, by, writing this tell-all. And then I guess she allegedly called, or her lawyer contacted Diddy's lawyer and was like, you can buy the exclusive rights of this book for $30 million and it will never, ever get out. You will own the exclusive rights for $30 million. Only today's, this is your discounted price for today, $30 million. And cocky Diddy said, The hell with that. I'm not about to. No, she ain't getting 30 million off of love. Not off of love. She ain't about to be. She got a whole husband and 2 kids. So basically, you want me to take care of your whole family? Yeah, it's a no for me, bro. She was like, oh, okay. So then she said, guess what? Dear Diddy, I am about to file this lawsuit. This is your last chance. Lawsuit, see attached. He looked at it like, man, whatever, bro. Then her attorney pressed send, and then the whole internet blew up, and it been blown up ever since. And then every day, like clockwork, we were going after it. It's a new lawsuit file, a new lawsuit file, a new lawsuit file. So I think that Cassie lawsuit is actually under seal. I think that was part of it where they made it under seal. So you can't pull it up off the docket anymore. But she don't give no dang. She over there living her best life with her $30 million. We the one over here mad. We the one still pissed off when we seen the video. She over there like, okay. She probably putting that settlement. She'll never talk about it again. She good, all of that. She, unless of course she's called to testify, she don't have a choice. But that's what had happened. Okay, so Tripping with Melissa said, why didn't he release the full video when Cassie allegedly tried to blackmail? Because he didn't have it. That was the whole point. Let me pull this up because see, I'm gonna be giving everything away, and I don't even know everything to give except for the first page that I read. So I think enough of you have been able to come in. And so the introduction reads like this. The government persuaded Judge Carter to detain Mr. Combs by claiming his video of an 8-year-old incident was evidence of trafficking and by making unsubstantiated claims of witness tampering. This is for all you guys that keep telling me about witness tampering and how that's the difference between Mike Jeffries and all of that, which made me have to go down the rabbit hole with him the other video, because I was like, do y'all not know what Mike Jeffries is accused of? But I go on. The defense rebutted those arguments through its own proffer, but lacked access to key evidence that could corroborate its rebuttal. That's what I was telling you guys, is that yes, they were arguing this stuff. So the government is right that they brought these defenses up, but it was really a credibility issue because his attorney was basically saying what Diddy told them happened. Like, that's it. So do you think a judge is going to believe what Diddy told his lawyers to say without really having no corroborating evidence? So that's what they're saying. A lot of these arguments they raised because Diddy told them what happened, but they didn't have the evidence to back it up. So I hope that answers your question. Whoever said something about why didn't they submit the whole video, when she tried to blackmail them, because they didn't have a video. Nearly 2 months later, much has changed. Most importantly, discovery produced after the initial bail hearing, some of it after the motion was filed, shows the narrative the government presented then was fictional. For instance, we now know that even before it arrested Mr. Combs, the government possessed blank, confirming his account of the March 5th, 2016 incident at the Intercontinental Hotel. But instead of presenting that video to the court, the government submitted an altered video that omitted key scenes and presented events materially out of order. The prosecutors also claim there was a second victim, but they have never interviewed her, and messages produced in discovery confirm she was not a victim. Likewise, communications produced in discovery show Mr. Combs' contacts with witnesses were innocuous and consistent with his right to participate in his defense by developing potential defense witness. The government's opposition brief confirms that bail should be granted. It spills much ink insisting the court lacks authority to reopen the bail proceedings, even though the controlling authority clearly established the court's ample discretion to do so. The government also offers No response to many of the cases cited in Mr. Combs' motion, including 2 other ex-trafficking cases in which bail was granted. And that's the Jeffries case, and then that's the Fox case. I think we looked up the Fox case too. That was another rabbit hole I went down. So it was another case that they got bail, and Fox was a horrible case as well. Instead, the government reprises the same disingenuous tactics it used in the prior proceedings. It took full advantage of the detention order, scouring Mr. Combs' communications to try to find some actual evidence to substantiate its obstruction allegation. But once again, the government's theatric spin on the evidence omits key context and creates a misleading picture. For instance, it makes much of Mr. Combs' contacts with others, but is unable to point to any communications involving actual tampering efforts. I responded to somebody with that too, because somebody also was trying to substantiate, I guess, Jeffries getting bond by saying, well, he was calling people on three-way and using other people's pen. I was like, okay. So he broke some rules, which a lot of them do. And if you're going to be honest and you've dealt with anybody that's been incarcerated, you can admit, if you want to be honest, that you done been called on three-way, or other people have done things that's technically against the rule. However, in my opinion, the MDC is breaking the biggest rule of this country, which is the freaking Constitution. If people are housed in them type of conditions, that is a cruel and unusual punishment type of a violation and other due process violations that they got going on up in that jail. So we can't say we want you to follow every rule and we ain't got to follow none. That's the first thing. Secondly, they never said these calls really showed tampering or witness obstruction. Some of those were his family, his attorneys. They said that were on there as well. So basically you're arguing because he used three-way, that means he can't follow rules and that he shouldn't get out for that. Like, they got to come with some stronger stuff. That's all I was saying. But anyway, I'll keep fighting with y'all in the comments about that. It took full advantage of the detention order, scouring Mr. Combs' communications to try and find some actual evidence to substantiate its obstruction allegations. But once again, the government's theatric spin on the evidence omits key context and creates a misleading picture. For instance, it makes much of Mr. Combs' contacts with others, but is unable to point to any communications involving actual tampering efforts. And it omits key parts of conversations, which show that Mr. Combs was not pressuring anyone or telling anyone what to say about anything. Likewise, its allegation that MDC rules violations are false or overblown. There is no legitimate legal basis for continuing to force Mr. Combs to prepare for trial from jail. The government is unable to show that the extremely restrictive proposed conditions are insufficient to prevent any possible danger or obstruction. The revelations about the recent MDC raid only confirm that it is impossible for Mr. Combs to work with his counsel on a confidential basis to develop his trial strategy from the jail. He is entitled to pretrial release under the Bail Reform Act and the Constitution. So the first argument is that Mr. Combs' motion presents new material information. I'm going to see what you guys have to say. I'm sure you guys are probably about cussing me out now, but let me see. Whew. Kiss the Smooch said my experience is both. Dion Florence said they will easily prove that the video is authentic. Okay. We need more people to hit the like button. Yeah, that too. Pam keeps coming with legal expertise and common sense, and we just want Diddy in jail. I can appreciate you just saying that. Like, we just don't want him to get out. We think he's a bad person. We don't like him. We didn't like his attitude out on the streets. We think he was control freak. He abused his powers being people's bosses. I could understand that. However, what I'm saying is this. What you don't want to happen is for someone close to you or your family to be in these types of situations, God forbid, and this type of stuff happens. Diddy has money. So Diddy can fight and bring to light some of the things of the lengths that the government may go through in order to keep him in. I think it's very interesting that a lot of you guys was emailing me about Malcolm X and that situation and the government being sued and how they allegedly was part of his assassination and all of that good stuff. And y'all believe the government when it comes to Malcolm X. But if the government is doing something like that to a doggone Diddy because he's such done shown himself out to be a clown, then y'all like, oh no, we believe everything the government says. I think that's interesting to me. That's very interesting to me. Like, we pick and choose when we want to believe it. Like, so the government, when it comes to Malcolm X or wiretapping Martin Luther King or the other things we found about the government, we're like, oh, they're dirty, sue the whole government. But then when it comes to this, because we just don't like them, we're like, the rules should be different and just hang them right now. That's not fair. I get it. Let them win fair and square. The government got more than enough resources to take this man to the mat. Take him to the mat, take away any type of looks of any type of nefariousness or the look of impropriety or any. Just take it away and just win fair and square. That's all we saying. That's it. Y'all know, Treasure Rolling, you know I love y'all, but we got to have the heart-to-heart conversation. We cannot do that. We cannot pick and choose and say the government did all the black people wrong and we deserve reparations, but damn, we don't like Diddy ass. So everything they saying he did it. The government didn't break his attorney-client privilege. Absolutely not. He definitely doesn't deserve bond. We don't care what the prongs are for bond and the purpose of bond. He needs to be locked up because he kept others in captivities for decades. And it was nothing they can do. And now this is their time. I get it. See, this is why I'm saying, like, people get mad at me. And I'm not no pro Diddy because, again, I ain't like him before this. But you got to take your emotions out of it from the legal realm. If the government has what they say they have, remember, they're still investigating. They're going to supersede indictments, all of that. If that's what you're going to do, then just do it and do it on the up and up. That's all I'm saying. That's it. I love you, Pam, but I don't care. I love you back because you so honest. My people real. They like, girl, we don't give a dang about nothing you talking about right now. Right now, you're talking to yourself. I still don't like. Where's the button for I can't stand Diddy? I'm about to hit that instead of the like button. I get it. If y'all like this, I feel sorry for the jury, man. Whew. April B said, I never liked it. I think it's more than fair to keep the diddler locked up. Diddy. See what I'm saying, Shay? I'm not doing this with y'all. Okay, let's get into this. All right. The government's efforts to disparage the significance of the new evidence supporting Mr. Cohn's motion are nothing more than empty rhetoric. This lady is writing this motion, though. I have to give it to her. She is a great writer. I'm going to read what Sassy Experience says. She said, mad at Fulton County about YSL, but loving them about Molesto. You know what? Raising my hand because Pam just stepped on my toes. Ouch. Well, you know that we're not saying that you did anything, Mr. Williams. You are innocent until proven guilty. I'm just reading the comment, okay? You have not been charged or convicted of anything of those sexual related crimes. I don't need y'all coming for me. I'm just reading the comment. Thank you so much for the super chat. But yeah, y'all do that. Like, y'all out here right now, they are out in front of Fulton County picketing for YSL, saying they are unfairly treated. But this man, Mr. Williams, he just still in the same position where we don't even have any of the evidence. And y'all like, because he did Shirley wrong, half of you guys are like, he ain't nothing. Put him under the jail. Like, we can't be like that. Like, we can't. Everybody deserves a fair trial. Everybody deserves to be proven guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Everybody deserves that. So I can appreciate you, acknowledging. That's what I'm here for. I can I can appreciate you acknowledging it. See what I'm saying? Yeah. They did just overturn Jussie Smollett's sentence because the government was shady. Thank you, Golden Child. I was just on here earlier telling you, and the Court of Appeals upheld it. And I was just thinking, how would you like that you hire somebody? Because when I did criminal, that was a lot of stuff that I did too. They would say, listen, I need a deal so I don't have a record. That's kind of, well, they don't be worried about that. They just don't want to go to jail. I'm more concerned about the record. So if it's like a disorderly or something minor, I'm going to talk to the prosecution and try to strike a deal. You know what I'm saying? So if I strike a deal and then because people get wind in the community about my deal and they feel like it wasn't fair, and then they're able to go back and overturn it, that's not fair, So I think the Supreme Court in the Jussie Smollett case got it right. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to my video from this morning. Simone B said they're going to mess around and throw the case being unethical and unlawful. That's what I'm saying. You don't want, like, the judge has given them briefings to even talk about. They have to brief why them allegedly dealing with handling attorney-client information is not a violation of his rights. Like, now that is literally a issue that's still up in the air that they have to go back and forth. Now, there was also information that the pictures wasn't matching the notebooks that Diddy, I guess, and them brought to the courthouse. So the judge want to know why one got legal and one don't, so that has to be sorted out. But that's literally something that the public may not think is serious, but the sanctity of attorney-client privilege cannot be stressed enough. It's a reason why I'll drive 4 hours upstate somewhere to see somebody instead of talk to them on the phone. You want your conversation, no matter what it is, to be confidential. I don't even care if it's minor. You just telling me you just found out you having a baby. I don't care. Anything have to do with me and my client, I don't want anybody to know. And that's all they really have in order to talk freely. Other than that, everything is recorded. Everything is monitored. In my opinion, the government is looking at the entire picture of a Diddy, but they need to focus on what he's already been charged with. Where's that superseding indictment at? Stephanie said Diddy got played by trying to have a mistrial. Well, he's not in trial, so I'm not understanding how he getting a mistrial. You can't, how you motioning for a mistrial before a trial happened? Am I missing something here? Just help me understand what you're trying to say. Forever, for always, forever, for life, said Diddy's lawyers are trying to get the case thrown out on technicality. I see just, no, I'm have to disagree with you, sis. The law is the law. Your rights are your rights. Diddy's lawyers just on their neck. Just like how they're being on his neck, monitoring all his calls, they're monitoring everything they're doing that they can get information on. And they writing motions and they going to hearings every week if they have to. That's what they get paid for. And wouldn't that be what you want your lawyers to do? They're supposed to be zealous advocates and defend your rights and defend the Constitution. Kathy said, another reason you are awesome, you have trained yourself to remove your emotions. We love you. I love you back, Kathy, and I love you so much for supporting the channel. Thank you so much. Oh, here we go. Diddy lied that the notes were privileged. He wrote legal on his past after the search. The fooling. How do you know? How do you know that it was Diddy who lied? Why couldn't it be the government took pictures and then cropped out the word legal? You see what I'm saying? How y'all think? How now the government is the most sanctified and everybody else is lying. But when it comes to the people y'all like a Malcolm X, the government sucks. Like, we need to be fair all the way around. There is no evidence for what you are saying. The only information we have is the judge said the pictures don't say legal that the government attached, and the notebooks that they brought physically to the court that they saw actually says legal. That's what the judge said. So be prepared to explain tomorrow why there is a difference in both. That's what they said. Y'all, I'm not doing this with y'all. I'm not doing it. Queen Black said, I don't trust either side. Y'all is a trip. Diddy's doing too much. How dare he defend himself? That's from Unapologetically Alicia. Y'all do the same thing with Ernest. Ernest Williams does a motion to suppress, which I told you guys before. Okay, between now and then, this is what we do as defense attorneys. You file motions to try to get some of the counts dismissed, or you try to suppress the warrants or suppress the vehicle searches. I tell y'all, then when they file it, you guys start going off. Why he do that? Why he file it? He know he did everything they said. It's like, what you think he's supposed to just sit there and not fight? Like his attorney's just supposed to sit there and just come to the trial and not even try to fight anything because y'all don't like him? Was some of y'all dating that man or something? Is there something I'm missing here? Were some of you guys dating Ernest Williams or something? Just let me know. Because some of this stuff, you guys be serious too. I don't even know why he filed that, because that's what you're supposed to do as a defense attorney. Now, when Brian Steele from YSL filed something, that mug breaks the internet. Brian Steele has done his 150th request for a mistrial. Brian Steele filed a motion to stop the government from sneezing during trial. Brian Steele filed the most masterful motion I have ever seen in my life. Brian Steele, did you see that Brian Steele motion? He doesn't want them to call the people victims. Yeah, man, Brian Steele is that guy. But then here come Nesto. He filed one little demurrer motion and a motion to suppress the vehicle. And y'all like, why the hell he filed that? I don't understand why. Y'all is a trip. Sexy RN says, you are way wasting your breath. Most people cannot see past their dislikes or prejudices. Well, I'm going to keep trying, Sexy RN. I'm going to keep trying my best every chance I get. But thank you so much for the super chat. If Diddy is released, I'm just afraid there will be no witnesses or they're going to pull a little Woody at the Whole Food. But I'm watching. I just wish criminals would accept responsibility for what they've done and stop wasting taxpayer money. That's from Wifey. She feel like y'all should just give up your whole due process right and just say, you got me. You ain't got to prove it. Just take me now. That is not going to happen. So Kelly said his attorney is literally trying to ensure his constitutional rights are protected. All of us should want that because it affects us as citizens. That's it, y'all. Y'all be so mad at me, man. Let me see. I have a Cash App that came in. I guess you guys still kind of like me, even though I said all of this. Thank you so much. Make sure I ain't saying. I know you didn't say a name. Thank you so much, Marquita. I appreciate it. Some of y'all put your names in the thing, whatever your name is on YouTube. And then like, girl, why you say my government name? I don't want all them people to know who I am. My name is Flowers and Sunshine on YouTube. Why you say my name? I don't want them to know. All right, let's move on. Okay, let me do one more comment. One thing that FBOP did not do was bring him up on jail violation charges, so I question their motives and integrity. Yeah, they do have their own interdisciplinary system, their jail rules, so they have their own kind of due process system even within the jails. Now that's one thing they do. It's not like you committed a whole nother crime to go before the judge again. It's just you end up having to go through the processes within jail, but well, I'm glad y'all love me because baby said we love you, Pam. We just hate Diddy. Well, you know what? I be trying. You, Sonya, you see me out here trying. I'm out here trying to get these people even to look at your man with fairness and unbiasedness. It just don't be working. That's all. It's just not working. I'm really trying, but they just got their own ideas and stuff, and they just got a problem with it. But I'm trying, okay, homie? All right. All right. Let's go on. Child, we ain't gonna never get through this. The specific evidence outlined in Mr. Combs' motion was not available at the time of the initial hearings. Although the defense had a general understanding of Mr. Combs' past interaction with individuals like victim one, we did not have access to the specific contents of the relevant correspondence because it was contained on devices that were seized from Mr. Combs but had not yet been produced to him. Thus, the government's claim that, quote, nothing about the content of the text messages between the defendant and victim one, end quote, were unknown to him at the time of the initial hearing is false. The government does not dispute that other evidence, such as the redaction, could not have been known to Mr. Combs during the initial hearings. As just one example, Mr. Combs did not know that. Well, we want to know. You know what I'm saying? All this redaction stuff is for the birds. We want to know. We are invested in this case now. Redaction directly contradicted the government's claims at the detention hearing. Nor did Mr. Combs know that the government was portraying a second woman as a purported victim, even though it has never even spoken to her. This is sufficient new evidence to reopen the hearing. Then it has the case law. The government's separate argument that the court has no inherent authority to reopen the hearing because this case has been reassigned is baseless. The court is entitled to consider the basis for the detention order in deciding whether to reopen. We are not asking the court to rule that Judge Carter erred, which is what United States v. English addressed when it observed that a second district court judge is not authorized to review the decisions of a previous district court judge. We are simply offering new evidence and additional conditions in response to the reasons Judge Carter gave for detaining Mr. Combs. Welcome to the Intellects, Raymel. Welcome. As the Second Circuit has clearly instructed, the act leaves the decision to reopen a hearing to the sound discretion of the district court. So let's go to sub B. Since filing his motion, Mr. Combs has received even more new material information demonstrating the government misled the court about the video at the prior bail hearing. Now, this is what we're trying to talk about right here. We appreciate your thoroughness, Madam Counsel, but we want to know about this video, okay? On November 13, 2024, the government produced even more material new evidence, including more redaction of the March 5th, 2016 Intercontinental Hotel incident. The government had this redaction as early as August 7, 2024, yet only produced it to the defense after, you see that's italicized, so they want you to emphasize it. Mr. Combs filed his renewed motion for bail. Then there's a footnote. The government's only case law suggests this is new information under 18 U.S.C. section 3142 sub F sub 2 sub B. See Lewis 2016. It's a Westlaw case that says audio recordings produced after initial bail hearings was, quote, arguably new evidence, end quote. Okay, then there's a declaration, then there's some more redactions. The redaction consists of redaction used to create the government's principal piece of evidence at the regular bail hearing, an edited, manipulated version of the video published by CNN. The new redaction supports the defense's argument at the earlier bail hearings and shows the government knowingly mischaracterized and concealed critical facts during those hearings. As an analysis prepared by forensic video analyst Connor McCourt, they got them a video analyzer. who explains the video the government submitted to the court omits footage corroborating the defense accounts, changes the sequence of events in material respects, and does not accurately depict the event. So are y'all saying y'all don't think the government is capable of doing any of that? Is that what you guys are saying? Not our divided states of America. Is that what you're saying? Not our not this here government in America. Not I pledge allegiance to the flag, America. Is that what y'all saying? I want y'all to tell me y'all don't believe that the government is not capable of doing anything they saying that the government did. That they accusing the government of. You tell me. I want you to tell me. Why y'all got laughing emojis? That's not what I asked. I want y'all to tell me. Because I'm gonna remind you. So I want to see the names of the ones that said, because I'm gonna remind you. Because when y'all start talking about YSL and all the other future shenanigans that's gonna come on this channel, I'm gonna remind you to this moment. I'm gonna take you back. Miss HLS said, I bet they didn't alter anything. Juror 56 said, oh, they more than capable. Shay B said that's neither here nor there. Now that's the best answer. Okay. Woo. Bobby said they can, but what did they alter? Okay. They said, were y'all not listening? It said the video the government submitted to the court omits footage corroborating the defense account. And then it changes the sequence of events in material respects and does not accurately depict the events. That's what they're saying. They're not saying it's AI. They're saying it's been chopped and screwed and omitted. That's what they're saying. The government had the more complete redaction during the initial hearings, but chose not to share it with the court. Instead, it offered its edited version of the CNN video as its most powerful evidence of danger and obstruction. Oh, well, I didn't even know they actually showed the video. I thought they just like talked about it. Oh, yeah, that was bad. The judge was not about to let you out, bro. Because I know I saw that video and I was like, ooh. Oh, when I saw the video, I wanted to fight too. Mr. Combs argued Exhibit A1 was not evidence of a freak-off, but depicted a domestic dispute in which he ran down the hall of the hotel to recover his clothes and cell phone. The government invented a different narrative. It argued, quote, our evidence will show that's just not what happened, end quote. Because, quote, if it's about the clothes and wanting to get the clothes back, which again, it's not, why drag the victim back down the hall to the room? And you can see that on the tape. That's what it does. And they tell you what the transcript is from the September 18th hearing. The government further argued Mr. Combs, quote, throws a vase at her, end quote. And that's in the transcript at 10, which the district court cited in detaining Mr. Combs. And that's in the transcript, page 49. The government apparently stands by those arguments again here, but they are false and the government knows it. So they said the government lied. Do y'all believe it? Y'all think that the government, you think the government is capable of lying? Not this government. Oh no. Especially when it comes to Diddy, they can never be lying about anything. Is that what? Did he stomp her or nah? Diddy's Cerny. Thank you so much for the super chat. Not my government, girl. You might mess around and be in the Trump administration. Keep. You know he's looking for people to fill the roles in his cabinet. So you might, with that type of attitude, you probably can get a position. Kelly said the government absolutely misled and stretched the truth. Michael K said we saw the part we needed to see. We saw that part. We saw the one we needed to see. T Bam said men lie, women lie, so not the government. I have never seen y'all. I'm looking at all of y'all because the fact that y'all are sticking up for this government is cracking me up. No, Diddy, they exaggerating right now. Did everything they said he did. But baby, let it be somebody y'all like. You be out here protesting and picketing. You guys up in the courtroom like it's your job. You taking 2-week vacations, use your PTO time because you want to see. You want to see that justice prevail. Y'all out here with this YSL. Don't know these guys from a can of paint, but just because the state sucks, y'all like, free them boys. Free them. Free all of them. We don't care. The state is shady. We don't like Miss Love. She sucks. We don't like the way Miss Hilton talks. Like, you guys are a trip. Lord, may I never be in this situation. They had these judgmental people judge me. Lord, no. Woo. The Gold Experience said they got Bill Cosby, so anybody can get it. Miss Infamous said CNN is that fault. Oh, Lord. Elite Leo said exactly, but they want to be on the government side as if Diddy did something to them personally. Bad, they taking this mug personal. Y'all just didn't like him before. I'm telling you, you saw his attitude on making a band and all of that, because that's when I was like, oh no. But you know what? That smug, cocky, arrogant attitude, to me, I always thought a lot of that was a facade. But there are a lot of celebrities. In fact, probably 85% of them have that same smug. I'm the big dog of the bunch. You should bow down to me. You know what I'm saying? They all have that same attitude. I've had a few encounters with people, not Diddy, but that I was like, who you talking to? You know, I like to ask people that, like, I don't care who you are. I don't care how many platinum albums you have. This how this gonna go. If you gonna hire me to do this, then this is how I go. I don't let my clients run what I do. If you want to do it yourself, you can go pro se. You don't need me. But they do have this arrogance about them because you get around so many people that's willing to do anything just to be in their presence. And so they may not, a lot of times I say that about pastors that end up being celebrity pastors. I think they really do start out with the right intent and the right heart. And then when you're sitting up there in the pulpit and they worshiping you, and you got people they got the helps committee that's cooking your family food, and people running to be the pastor's aide, and they just running to try to give you water and all that, get to anybody's head. You know, if you're not firm in your foundation, it jacks you up. And I think that happens to a whole lot of celebrities, and Diddy ain't no different. He just has a personality I could live without. That's all. Sexy RN said the government lies. Why didn't Diddy say it was altered when the video was first released? Diddy told his story on what he said it was. But by this time, remember, Diddy's house was raided and they had taken all his stuff. He didn't have them videos. What you wanted him to go knock on the government's door and say, yo, can you give me that video, the full video of the CNN that CNN put out so I could go defend myself? All he can do is get on there and talk about, yeah, I did stomp her. I mean, you can't deny it. He never really gave context until the bail hearing came. And then that's when he was like, that's when we kind of learned more about what he's saying happened, the full picture of what happened that day. But it was, I think it was, what was it? Roger Bond was saying that there was an incident where she hit him in the car or something. So he even said they just was a toxic relationship. So that's kind of what he's going with. But it's always going to be the problem that she was only 19, I think, when she got with him. And of course, he was older. He had her career in his hand, and she did want to marry him and have kids and all of that despite. So then you get into the grooming, you get into all types of stuff as to why she's the way she is. And I'm sure that the government will probably bring an expert to try to say that. But nonetheless, they definitely had a jacked up relationship. I believe Diddy did it. She said that with exclamation points. But it bothers me that the government is using the Cassie suit as the basis of their criminal case. There should be so much more. That's fair. Thank you so much for the super chat, Sassy Experience. Thank you so much for continuously supporting this here channel. Yeah, Kelly said no one wanted to hear what he had to say after the video. That's true. All he could really do was get on and say, I'm sorry. I was in a very, very, very dark place. A lot of these dudes on the street is lucky that ain't no videos of them acting terrible towards women. And there's probably a lot of women that are also lucky there are no videos of them acting terrible towards men. Because I've done DVs both ways. You know? So his was just you got caught on tape. He couldn't do nothing but, I mean, how would he look getting on there saying, yeah, I was stomping her, but before that, she had done. Y'all not gonna care what happened before that. All you can see from an emotional standpoint is him doing that to her. That's all you can see. So nobody care. And he knew it. He really shouldn't even got on after that. He should have just shut his mouth and not even talked anymore because he knew the indictment was coming. Shady stuff from the prosecution will ruin a good case and mess around and get it tossed. That's from Golden Child. All right, let's get on with it. Hit the like button on your way in. I appreciate that. So, of course, according to Diddy's filing, he said the government apparently stands by those arguments and they're false. So they explained the more complete footage of the incident, in contrast to the government's sensationalized CNN cut, contradicts the government's representations. The video demonstrates that one, Mr. Combs, in fact, ran down the hall to retrieve a bag of clothes and a cell phone. Number two, he did not drag victim one back down the hall to the room, as the government and its resequence exhibit falsely suggests. So they saying it wasn't even a drag like that. Number three, he did not throw a vase at victim one, but only its contents, presumably flowers. So he didn't throw the vase, he just took the flowers out and threw them. And number four, she was not, quote, only able to leave, end quote, once security staff intervened. And they have a declaration. In other words, it is the government whose explanation is just another cover-up, just more lies, end quote. Whoa. The true facts corroborate that Mr. Combs has stated all along the video is not evidence of a coerced, quote, freak off and sex trafficking, but rather a sad glimpse into a decade-long consensual relationship between Mr. Combs and victim one. Let me pull this affidavit up right quick. Let's see. Why is everybody and their mama calling me right now when I'm live? Okay, so Agnafilio did a declaration. And no, this is Teeny Garagos did a declaration. It said, I'm a partner at Agnafilio LLP, Counsel for Sean Combs. I'm a licensed and in good standing practice to law in the state of New York and California. And yeah, their admissions. The declaration is based on my personal knowledge, the defendant and defendant's counsel's effort to interview witness. Mr. Agnafilio and I began interviewing witnesses for this matter on April 2024 after the Department of Homeland Security. Okay, let me see, because we ain't there yet. Ooh. Oh, they've been investigating folk, interviewing people. Okay, let's go to witness one. The government's response addresses Mr. Combs' contact with witness one. The search warrant. This is more redactions than anything. What? All right, let's just go through this because, honey, they redacted more in the affidavit than they are in. I thought we might get some more information. The new evidence undermines the government's initial proffer. Mr. Combs' new evidence undermines the basis for the initial detention decision, and none of the government's more specific arguments demonstrate otherwise. Communications with victim one do not evidence ex trafficking. No one piece of correspondence that we have reviewed between Mr. Combs and victim one, the sole victim in the indictment, corroborates the prosecution's ex-trafficking theory or its representation at the previous bail hearings. And the government still does not offer a single piece of actual evidence supporting that allegation. Instead, it reiterates its proffer of cherry-picked citations to purported messages. If the messages in context actually support the government's argument, why hasn't it produced them to the defense or provided them to the court? They just challenge you. They just dared you, government. Come with the full text. The government brushes off victim one's motives for accusing Mr. Combs as having no bearing on the question of bail. But victim one is the only victim identified in the indictment, and her credibility will be, if not the key issue at trial. If the jury does not credit her testimony, it will have to acquit him of ex-trafficking count. Her motives thus directly relate to and diminish the weight of the evidence against Mr. Combs, as well as the nature and seriousness of the purported danger he presents. There is no second victim at all. The government does not even dispute that despite labeling a second person a victim of sex trafficking, it has never even spoke to her. Presumably for this reason, the government also fails to dispute the fact that one, the individual was voluntarily intimate with Mr. Combs for years, and number two, redaction. Number three, redaction. The government now falsely portrays as ex-trafficking. So whoever this victim is, alleged victim number two, they're saying was just one of Mr. Combs' jump offs for years. The government simply has no response to these facts. Instead, it doubles down on more misleading representation to the court. It suggests Mr. Combs is tampering with this individual through financial coercion, including, quote, as recently as mid-September 2024. Yet the government knows, that's italicized, but again, withholds from the court and the public because it's redacted. So we don't even know what it says. There is simply no financial coercion at all. Mr. Combs did not obstruct grand jury witnesses. The government discussion of Mr. Combs' contacts with witness one contains no facts suggesting any tampering. The government does not and cannot dispute that Mr. Combs did not try to influence the individual's grand jury testimony. To the contrary, he confirmed the witness should, quote, redaction. Indeed, his contacts with the witness were in coordination with counsel and in connection with the defense investigation. So it sounds like they may have had the conversation because obviously her name came up in the Don Richard lawsuit. And so maybe they were perhaps trying to interview Kalani to figure out, girl, what was your experience? Is that what you would say? Are you going to corroborate what Don says? So yeah, his attorneys needed to talk to her for the civil aspect of it. The government cites 128 phone contacts in total with witness two, but ignores that the content of the correspondence evidences no obstruction. The most the government can offer is that redaction. That is all, and it is not evidence of obstruction. 18 U.S.C. 3142 further warrants release. The government concedes that in considering whether release is necessary for preparation of a person's defense, the Bail Reform Act requires that a defendant in custody be afforded reasonable opportunity for private consultation with counsel. The government's breezy assurance that the, quote, MDC procedures do not infringe on the defendant's constitutional right to effective counsel or to participate in his defense is cold comfort, particularly given that the opposition revealed about how the government has taken advantage of the detention order to violate Mr. Combs' privacy and pierce his privileged communication with his attorneys. This attorney is writing, y'all. You guys got to give Shapiro, I think she does a lot of appeals. She is writing this thing right here. His cause, including with his, let me see. The government has, one, listened to his cause, including with, quote, family members and attorneys, end quote, and two, reviewed his messages, including, quote, with dozens of individuals, including attorneys, end quote. The BOP sweep and prosecutors' conduct here will unquestionably have a chilling effect on Mr. Combs' preparation if his detention continues. The government's response that its actions need only be reasonable, not perfect, provides little comfort. And then they have in parens, BOP suspension of visits and calls, quote, impacted the defendant's ability to prepare and created obstacles and attempted to communicate with counsel, making release necessary for preparation of the defense. Defense counsel has repeatedly tried to come to an agreement with the government on various issues, including the sharing of discovery with Mr. Combs and clarifying the filter team's protocol. These issues remain unresolved. The government says it will provide a laptop in short order, but it has been saying that a long time. And while it has made a laptop for counsel to bring into the MDC available this week, it still has not provided a laptop for Mr. Combs to have in the facility. The government has done nothing to remedy the issues raised by the motion. To the contrary, it heard from the defense that Mr. Combs' privileged materials and work product was searched and seized. The comment that it, quote, stands ready to engage with defense counsel on these issues if needed, end quote, is hard to take seriously given the history here. Well, my intellect said the government would not do such a thing. Not this here government. They would never violate his rights like that. Oh no. Absolutely not. Let's go on. The government's new evidence does not justify detaining Mr. Combs. Mr. Combs' use of Contact Me ASAP, other PAC numbers, and three-way calling is not an attempt to evade law enforcement. I want you all to listen up at this argument because this has been the newest thing. They're like, he's breaking the rules. Oh no. He should definitely stay in there for breaking the rules. So let's see how they're going to argue this. Mr. Combs' use of methods of communication that the government claims violate BOP policy does not evidence obstruction and does not justify detention. It is simply not true that the communications, quote, are designed to evade BOP and law enforcement monitoring, end quote. ContactMeASAP.com is a service that defense counsel did not believe was unauthorized by BOP as it is widely used in the prisons. That's why when they said that and said it was unauthorized, I'm like, so why are they letting this continue to happen if they're not supposed to be on it? That was very interesting. So, footnote 4, at the November 19, 2024 conference, the government agreed it would no longer rely on the notes seized from Mr. Combs during the BOP sweep at MDC and opposing his renewed motion for bail. Mr. Combs accordingly does not address the substance of the notes here. So they're not even going to talk about the notes because remember, the court told them they couldn't use it. Defense counsel has spoken multiple times with an administrator of this website to confirm that the method of communication, one, utilizes the BOP's TrueLink system, which it does, and two, is monitored by BOP officials, which it is. The government, therefore, can read and even block every single message Mr. Combs sends and receives through this service, as was Mr. Combs' understanding. Indeed, the government has never once instructed defense counsel to have Mr. Combs refrain from using the services, nor has the BOP. Mr. Combs is no longer using ContactMeASAP.com as of November 16, 2024. So what y'all think about the Contact Me ASAP? They said they contacted and it's still a part of TrueLink and it can be monitored, and that was a lie, saying that it was unauthorized. Y'all ain't got nothing to say? Because that's right. Anything that looked like the government might have, not been right about something, y'all not, That's right. Y'all like the government for this case. Y'all hate the government for YSL. Just got to keep it straight. Let's go on. The use of other inmate PAC numbers is also a widespread practice in MDC and not obstruction. Ain't that what I said? But I didn't think it was really a good argument to be like, everybody's doing it. That's not, that's when your mom is like, if everybody jumps off a bridge, are you going to do it too? I was just saying it to say it's never been a big deal for people. But now all of a sudden for him, everything is just illuminated. Everything is like has the magnifying glass, like, oh, that's wrong. Inmates routinely share their calling minutes with other inmates, and they are limited to 15 minutes per call and 1 call per hour. The government has presented no evidence suggesting anything Mr. Combs says using other numbers is any different from what he says while using his individual PAC number. If anything, that Mr. Combs needs to resort to sharing minutes demonstrates that the conditions at MDC do not permit an adequate defense preparation. Although this is technically not permitted by BOP policy, the BOP effectively sanctions the practice and all calls are monitored. So basically they're saying it's a rule that's never really in the practice. So they've allowed it. They never really do anything about it. They know everybody's doing it, even though it is a rule. Y'all reaching using this rule and blowing it out of proportion. The government claims to have reviewed multiple calls in which Mr. Combs has attempted to dial in third parties, but it does not describe how any of these calls could be attempts at obstruction. And while it states that the potential contacts in these calls include, quote, members and associates of the enterprise, because the government will not identify these individuals, the defense has no way of testing the government's claim. So basically, you just saying it's part of the enterprise, but you won't give us a witness list, so we don't know who he's talking to that you're saying is a part of the enterprise. I don't know what he's saying. Laker girl said, not my God-fearing government. Doesn't your money say in God we trust? The Gold Experience said, okay, so whatever he says under his pen or anyone else's will be included. Yes, it will. It's still monitored and recorded. They're just saying he's using other people's pen. He knows it's still going to say, you have a collect call from Love, an inmate at the MDE correctional facility. Then they'll come back. Please do not share your pen with any other individuals. You have $10 available. We are connecting your call. Oh, they got to do the one. If you feel like you are being harassed and you do not want to receive any of these phone calls, please press 1. They do that first. Then they connect the phone call. So it's all still recorded. It's all still recorded. To answer your question, I was just being really extra in my demonstration because you guys know how I am. But yes, you said global tailwind. That's how it goes, though. And they do give you all type of instructions. Do not call on 3-way. And they be like, hey, yeah, hey, mama, hey, can you call? As soon as they say, do not call. 3-way calls are against the rules. Do not call on 3-way. They be like, we are connecting your call. Hey, mama, what you doing? Oh, okay. Everything okay? Hey, did you talk to my lawyer? Yeah. You let me give you this number so you can call. Let me give you this number. Then they call the law office and we don't know it's collect because they don't call it on 3-way. Hey, Miss Pam. Yeah. This is Mr. Right. You be like, who are you? Yeah. This Mr. Williams. Who are you? And how you calling me if you in a correctional facility? Oh, my wife on the phone. Listen, I heard that you just helped homeboy get out, and I just want to know if you want to be on my case. So they do it all the time. That's my point. Okay, let's move on. The communications do not evidence obstruction. The messages cited by the government reflect Mr. Combs' efforts to investigate and prepare his defense, including with counsel's participation. Nothing more. Redaction. We won't know the information. At the time, the defense team did not even know that the individual was a purported victim. More redactions. Of course, the government continues to portray the individual in question as a victim, quote, who could provide powerful testimony against Mr. Combs, end quote. Mr. Combs' Sixth Amendment right would be violated if counsel did not adequately conduct a, quote, thorough investigation, end quote, into the individual. And any such investigation must be based quite properly on informed strategic choices made by the defendant and on information supplied by him. Indeed, what investigation decisions are reasonable depends critically on such information. Accordingly, courts are mindful of pretrial detainees need to make telephone calls to potential witnesses and other individuals who might be useful to the defense. So then it has a footnote. The government repeatedly quotes Mr. Combs' use of the phrase redaction to suggest some nefarious motive on his part. But that turn of phrase is simply part of Mr. Combs' vernacular, as can be heard throughout many of the recordings. I don't know what word that could be. Mr. Combs' comments to that effect do not evidence obstruction. The government completely mischaracterized the content of blank redaction. I'll be ready when this trial comes and we can hear some of this stuff. Sheesh. And then they got a YouTube video. What YouTube video was this? Let me see. Can I click on? Let me see if it goes on. Diddy stay part 1. Yeah, we definitely ain't playing this. This a real video. Diddy stay part 1 featuring Kalon and Cassie. So y'all go listen to that song. I don't know. I just know Diddy is owes a lot of people money. So he would probably definitely strike my channel if I actually put it up. So I'm not doing it. So I want you guys to do is to go over there. Let me see. And what I do with the hold on. Shoot, I done lost the whole document. I done clicked off of it. Let's get back to business. It started all over. Go over there and you can listen to it because I'm not playing around with Diddy. He ain't getting none of my Google check because I done played his little money because I know he probably got somebody all over this internet trying to strike everybody's channel or to do shares on your proceeds. Won't do that with me, Diddy. Okay. Where was I at, y'all? I'm lost now. Let me see. We did that. And did that. Preparation of defense. We did that. We talked about the PAC numbers, the communications not evidence. Okay. Mr. Combs' other comments. Okay. Because I went over there. That's where I messed up. Being nosy, clicking that YouTube video, and then I got lost. So then they got footnote 7. I don't think we got there yet. That's at the end of that. Okay, the music video for which was never released. Gear goes. That's in the declaration. The quote cited by the government tellingly include no reference to victim 1 because they aren't references to any videos or public relations strategy meant to discredit her. All right. Let me see if I can put this in the chat so y'all can see what he's talking about right here. That's the whatever that is. Okay. That's what's at the bottom of that document if y'all want to go run up Diddy and get him some views. But I know you guys don't want to get him $1 of yours. You don't want him to get nah view. I know, because you don't like him. I understand. Mr. Combs' other comments reflect protected First Amendment speech. The government also cites comments reflecting classic protected speech. The government claims using, quote, public statements to alter public perception and redaction is obstructive. It argues the same regarding establishing a narrative about redaction. Mr. Combs' belief that this is redaction and his persona as a redaction. So then they have a footnote says, grasping at straws, the government makes much of Mr. Combs' request that his family make an Instagram post to celebrate his birthday. We do not believe that a social media post showing his family's love and birthday wishes violated the court's order, even if it presents him in a more positive light than the overwhelmingly unfavorable media coverage which has dominated the public narrative about Mr. Combs for the past year. Especially over here, because you guys give him the business in this chat. Without question, a pretrial detainee does not necessarily forfeit his or her First Amendment right. Indeed, as the Supreme Court has held, in some circumstances, press comment is necessary to protect the rights of the accused, because the defense does not begin inside the courtroom door, and one cannot ignore the practical implications of a legal proceeding for the accused. The cited conduct does not demonstrate any real or specific threat to the legal process, and Mr. Combs' statements have the full protection of the First Amendment. Okay. To the extent the court remains concerned that such statements might interfere with a fair trial, the remedy is not to detain the defendant, which would chill free speech. Instead, it is to screen potential jurors through voir dire. However, the Bail Reform Act authorizes courts to release pretrial detainees on conditions that they avoid all contact with an alleged victim and with a potential victim, which mitigates the specific obstruction concerns raised by the government. The government, point 3, the government cannot meet its burden to continue detention. There is no clear and convincing evidence supporting detention. The government claims its detention request is supported by witness testimony, communication, photo and videos, police reports, and other material, but it has produced no such evidence. The only quote testimony in the bail record confirms that redaction. The communications it continues to rely on include innocuous messages sent by purported victim 2, an individual the government has never spoken to, in italics, and one it knows isn't a victim. And here they go with this. The video involved the only specific quote victim mentioned in the indictment is not evidence of sex trafficking as explained. The government again reiterates the indictment allegations, but offers no response to the case law, illustrating why those allegations are insufficient to meet its burden. B, there is no flight risk. Mr. Combs fully intends to face these charges. The prospect of a conviction does not materially change his incentive here, where his reputation has already been destroyed. That it has been, Mr. Combs. It's just been destroyed by the government's allegations and aggressive and deceptive media tactics, and can only be rebuilt by winning a trial. And even if you win, I don't know if you'll really be rebuilding it like that. But yeah, to help a little bit. As the government concedes, Mr. Combs, quote, took steps to mitigate the risk of flight before the indictment, and there is no credible risk that he will attempt to flee if committed to the 24/7 custody of qualified security personnel. And then the footnote 8 says the government is wrong to suggest that Mr. Combs' communications demonstrate he has continued to try to evade law enforcement. He has never attempted to evade law enforcement. Do you hear that? All you guys in my comments talking about Jeffries is never trying to leave or obstruct justice. Huh? You guys hear that? Thank you, a lady. I appreciate that. She said she stole the only clothes to his name. He was like wrapped in a towel in the hallway. I guess that she took his clothes and that's what was in that bag may be plausible. The proposed updated bail conditions are sufficient. The proposed conditions specifically mitigate any possible concerns the government cites purported obstruction carried out through phone and email. But under the proposed conditions, Mr. Combs will have less access, in fact, no access to such means of communication other than communicate with counsel. Moreover, family visits will require prior approval, and Mr. Combs would consent to security personnel monitoring the visits and video monitoring if necessary. Tellingly, the government does not even attempt to distinguish the precedent supporting release on comparable conditions in similar cases. Indeed, the government considered to release on conditions of 2 defendants in the Jeffries case since the initial bail hearings here. The government is also wrong that U.S. v. Bustani favors detention, as explained in Mr. Combs' reply on appeal, which he incorporates here. Throughout these proceedings, the government has sought detention without actual proof, only to later produce evidence revealing the true, materially different facts. Because the accuracy of its proffereds are in question, they should be disregarded, and the court should only rely on the underlying evidence or evidentiary sources. And that is from Alexandra A.E. Shapiro. You better write, Sister Counsel. She wrote that reply brief. She is a great writer. I like her better than Agna Filio's writing. No offense, sir, but you did like do that TMZ sit down and all of that. See, she seemed like Shapiro seems like she just doing her work. She doing what she hired to do and getting her coinage. The crazy part is there was a man in the room, so it's going down and was sick of it and was leaving. How you know? You was there, E-Baby? Huh? You was there? Girl, tell us if you were present. You said it was a man in the room and she was sick of it and she grabbed her stuff and she left out. That's what you saying? You were there? No, but the man told TMZ. Okay, so upon hearsay, this is what the man said, that they were having that. So is this man going to come and testify for the government? This sounds like hearsay. Like you said it like you were there. I was going to ask you, were you like working at the hotel? Were you like the maid and you seen it or something? See, this is what I'm saying. When we hear stuff in the media that we want to believe, then we'll repeat it as if it's gospel. But if it's things that we don't want to believe, then we're like, oh, everything they saying is a lie. I have never seen so many people that are just so pro-government in my life. Y'all always complaining. Like I said, I've been dealing with this YSL stuff for the last year. Pam, can you cover YSL? I cannot believe Fonnie Willis. I cannot believe. Can you cover it? I'm like, nah, it's about 30 people covering it. It's cool. No. Did you see what the prosecution did? Oh, she about to lose her job. She about to lose her job. The government is faulty. And then when it comes to Diddy, y'all believe everything the government says, the way they're saying it, how they're portraying it, how they're presenting it, everything. Now, I agree with Diddy's attorneys that the phone thing was blown out of proportion. I said that. I was like, come on, bro. Y'all know that they always using pens because not even just it's all recorded. It's not like if you get somebody else's pen, it's not going to be recorded. It's still going to be recorded. So you're not really evading anything. You just get to be on the phone more. He probably pay people to use their little minutes or whatever. Because some people go to jail and they don't have anybody to talk to ever on no day. So look. I'm probably going to mess your name up. I thank you so much for the $5 before I even mess your name up. Lachinia Clute. I don't know. What happens tomorrow in court about the legal pad presented and the government having pics with no legal written on it? That's not supposed to happen tomorrow. Well, yes, it is in theory. Now, the judge does want, while they do the bond hearing, I guess he does want the defense to be prepared to answer why the government has pictures that have legal on the binding. I talked about it I actually did a small video, I think, on it in my membership. Why there's legal on the pictures that purport to look like there was really legal pads that may have attorney-client information, and why the pads that were physically brought in did not have had legal on them, but the pictures did not have legal that the government took the pictures of. Now, as I said earlier, a lot of you guys are saying his attorney tried to be slick and wrote legal on it. We don't know that yet. It could have been the government removed legal or cropped the picture or whatever. We don't know. Whoever took the pictures, they could have just kept it off, because whoever took the pictures, still trying to understand why they took the pictures, because the government asked the person that took the picture, the investigator, they asked the AUSA, is that protocol for them to take pictures instead of just take the information? Because if you just take the information, and Diddy would know, oh, they came in and took my stuff. And then he could report to his attorneys, who could then, rectify it and talk to them. They took pictures of it. So they went in his cell. They literally took the phone and was like, they took pictures and then was like, yo, AUSA, I got these pictures I took from this legal pad right here. Got these pictures. And then explain what they were. And the government is saying, because they're so righteous, what they told them was, no. Don't give us the information. Take it to our filter team so they can decide if anything that you just took is attorney-client privilege. Now, mind you, the purpose of them, you don't have an expectation of privacy. However, and they can go check your bunks and your cells at any time. You don't have a right like that. So they can't check it whenever they want to. However, this was supposed to be a sweep for contraband. Obviously, taking pictures of stuff is not contraband. Even if, for instance, drugs was coming through being soaked into some pieces of paper, you taking pictures of it is not going to help your situation. I'm just curious to know why the pictures were taken. And that's what the issue is. People are making it like it's no big deal, but that is not just some minor thing. Well, I ain't about to be the next attorney general nominee. No way. Okay. We knew who he wanted at first. That's all I'm going to say. But I'm going to still do what I can do with what I got to do out here. Yeah, they can. They can shake it down at any time, but that don't mean they can take your attorney-client privilege stuff. That's all they got. Just that look, Mammy Pam. We mad because the feds won't let us hear the cause. Man, if we could get them fed calls, I ain't gonna lie, I'll probably be up there being nosy too. I'll be listening to them too. I ain't gonna lie. I just said you better educate the people. I'm trying, but they fighting against me. Cassandra, I'm out here by myself. Listen, it's like US versus me. That's like millions of people versus me. That's what it feels like in this chat when it comes to this Diddy stuff. Like, geesh, I'm like, I get it. He ain't a likable person, but geesh, can we acknowledge when stuff ain't seeming right? Can we just acknowledge that? Okay. I don't even talk about Trump, so I don't even care. So that was just a dumb question. What? I know you just trying to play with me, right? I think you just, whoever you are, because I've never seen you before over here, you gotta just be trying to play with me with this question. Okay. I have never covered Trump to an extent of when he got indicted. The only thing I did was talk about he was indicted. You have never heard me follow motions. You have never heard me follow any of these hearings. You have never heard me say when it was dismissed, when it wasn't. You never heard me say any of that. My stuff on Trump is very sporadic because I'm not that interested in it. So I'm not talking about it. I have not followed it. It is what it is. Everything is unfolding as I predicted that it would. So all of this would have been a waste of my time. Trump don't need me defending him. He got plenty of people over there on X. Go over there on Twitter and you get to see a whole lot of people defending him. He don't defend me. Shoot. That's all I'm saying. But when my people say it's certain people that they do, why is everybody calling me? When they say it's certain people that they do want me to talk about, I talk about. They don't give no damn about Trump over here. So I'm not talking about him. Yeah, listen, you got to be new here, because that's the only explanation. Island girl, I don't know, but maybe you can talk to them about it, because I don't have the energy. This is an opportunity for us to learn and to parse some of the narratives. Some of the narratives that either side puts out. Pam is right to spin on swapping pin codes, and the B-Day post was a lot of hype about nothing. But people were making whole videos about it. Like, people literally were like, Diddy's trying to evade the government by three-way call. And I'm like, I promise you they will be putting that in everybody's briefs. They will be putting it in everybody's briefs that was detained, because everybody does that. And again, how many times, the real question is, when it happens, how many times does the BOP actually discipline people for doing it? Because if people was disciplined, they probably would stop doing it. But because it's like a rule that was probably written at the inception, but then nobody really follows it, because everything is monitored. It doesn't matter. It's still going to be recorded, whether it's three-way, one-way, halfway, somebody else is paying. It doesn't matter. It's going to be recorded. They just doing their job, Simone, and people don't want them doing their job. They want the people when they don't like the clients. And people do feel that way, because I remember when I did defense, and it was a high profile type case, and it was, it was a horrible case, and it was a lot of people involved, and they was like following me to the elevator. I had a deputy, and these was like not even the family members. This was like randoms that was just so emotional about the case. How can you? I see you walking there with your Louis bag and your red bottoms and your suit and your watch. You just do anything for money. Who represents these devils for money? I'd be like, dang, like, can we like get the evidence out here first? Because I'm not like, can we just relax and just sit back and see what happens? Okay. And then they was like, it got to the point where the depths were like following me to my car and stuff. So I had to get to a point where honestly, I had to really think about the effects on myself and my family before I would take certain cases, because people do take it. And I may know information way above what's in the media, because I don't litigate in the media. So I may know I got a video of my client being in Jamaica at the same time you saying he here committing a crime. And I'm just waiting to put it on. But because it's being portrayed like that in the media, they coming for me like, how do you represent those people? One thing I've never done is court appointed. And one of the reasons why I didn't is because I wanted control over who I represented. When you do court appointed work, you don't have control, but everybody deserves representation. But for me, I just wanted control over who I represented. I think I've only had maybe one or two people where I was like, yeah, nah. But for the most part, you know. Diddy's baby oil said, everybody, my ex used to use other people's pants to call and cuss me out. You didn't know it was coming. You have a collect call from Joe. You like, who is Joe? Is that a family member or something? Then he got on the phone. Yeah, wench, I told you. I told you to answer the damn phone when I called, and you ain't been calling me. You ain't been answering. All right, let's see if this affidavit say anything. Yeah, they would be mad at me. They wanted me to walk around in secondhand stuff. I'm like, do you know how hard I work? And you like mad because I look decent? You want me to look homely in court? The defendant and defendant's counsel efforts to interview witnesses. Mr. Agnafilio and I began interviewing witnesses for this matter in April of 2024, after the Department of Homeland Security raids of two of Mr. Combs' residence and on his person. Mr. Agnafilio stated examples of these interviews at the bail hearing on September 17th. So Mr. Garagos and I have interviewed Miss Garagos and I have interviewed a half a dozen of these males. We have been as busy as the government has over the last 6 months. They talk about other violence in their bail letter, and they are talking about a kidnapping from 2011. And I know exactly what they are talking about because we interviewed. Well, I know who the person was who was allegedly kidnapped. Miss Garagos and I interviewed her in Los Angeles. We took a statement from her. She certainly didn't use the word kidnapping with us. I won't get into what she did say, but let's suffice it to say there is another side to that story, and one day that other side might be told. We are going to continue to interview witnesses. Of course we are. We take pains to stay out the government's way. We don't know who the grand jury witnesses are, and honestly, I won't get into the details. If I think they are talking to someone, I will pull up short. I don't want any problems. Do I want to speak? We both know pretty much everything. That was an inartful dialogue happening. After Mr. Combs' indictment on this matter, the government and I began negotiations over the protective order. Because we had protracted discussions, we did not come to agreement on terms until on or about October 4th, 2024. This court entered the agreed upon protective order on or about October 7th. That evening, the government produced their first production of discovery material to the defense. This production included the government's search warrants and their supporting affidavits. Even without the benefit of the government's discovery, Mr. Agnafilio's and my investigation continued. In the beginning of October, our investigator traveled to the blank to interview multiple witnesses. He had planned to interview with people in, it's all redacted. On October 2nd, 2024, our investigator was in blank interviewing a witness. He then traveled to blank to interview blank. We believe many have important information related to the investigation. On October 3rd, 2024, I met with my client at MDC and discussed blank with him. We discussed blank. This individual who, as the government states, quote, has previously publicly detailed the physical abuse she suffered, remained romantically involved with Mr. Combs on and off until less than a month before victim one filed her November 2023 lawsuit. That's interesting. I sent Mr. Agnafilio and our investigator the following text messages. Big blank. We can't see it. The next day, our client made the call in which the government transcribes. Blank. The last part of the sentence, which is not included in the government's brief, but is in the exhibit, states blank. Ultimately, blank. On October 7, 2024, we received the government's search affidavit. It became clear to me from blank that victim 3 was considered an alleged victim by the government and that blank. With this information from the search warrant affidavit, blankety blank. Therefore, after October 7, 2024, I have not reviewed any discovery where Mr. Combs states on any calls or any emails to anyone to contact victim 3. Instead, Mr. Combs focuses on potential witnesses to address victim 3 and possible allegations. There was never any instruction whatsoever that Mr. Combs or counsel would, quote, blackmail victim 3. Witness 1, the government's response addresses Mr. Combs' contact with witness 1. The search warrant affidavit received on October 7, 2024 states blank and blank and blank, who the government describes as witness 1 in document number 69. Prior to reviewing the government search warrants, I was unaware that the government put witness 1 in the grand jury. Blank, the blank, the blank. I first learned of witness 1, blank, when Mark Agnafilio and I were in Miami, Florida, meeting with our client at his house. As part of our defense investigation, we have discussed several individuals with whom Mr. Agnafilio and I determined we should interview as part of our defense investigation. Blank, blank, blank. The photograph is below. They came with receipts this time. On June 25th, 2024, Mr. Agnafilio and I traveled to blank to continue our investigation to blankety blankety blank's resident. Blankety blank. Mr. Agnafilio and I met with Mr. Combs at his home in LA. Mr. Combs called witness 1 at blankety blank. Mr. Combs made this phone call in our president's presence. Blank, blank, and more blanks. I memorialized this conversation in writing at the time. More blanks. On June 20th. So they saying when he was talking to these people, his counsel was there. They getting paid real good. They just traveling to Miami to go meet at his house, and every day they visiting some new witness. On November 20th, 2024, the government government made available for inspection blank victim 1 and witness 1, which corroborates the witness's statement. On July 2024, I believe I contacted witness 1 for his attorney's name and contact information. Mr. Agnafilio and I spoke to witness 1's attorney, who declined to make his client available for interview. Individual 1. This individual, as the government states, is Mr. Combs blank. The government writes that Mr. Combs said he has blank. That has nothing to do with blank. He goes on to talk about blank. There is no indication in this call or any others that I have received and discovered and listened to that he wanted to distribute blank or videos of victim 1 to the media. Instead, he says blank, the blank, the blank. So remember, it was allegedly someone, I guess, who he was saying, according to the government, like threatening them to release a video or something. Mr. Combs says next, blank. Here, Mr. Combs is referencing an unreleased music video of a song called Stay, Part 1 from his September 2023 album called Love Album. He stated blank, but blank. It is my understanding that blank, i.e. dropping songs and music videos anonymously, is regular practice in the music industry. It is also my understanding that the music video for this song was never blank. Okay, now I gotta listen to the song we get off of here. Because are they trying to say his lyrics in there where he implicating himself or something? You know, that's what they did with YSL. I reviewed this music video on the evening of November 20th, 2024. So she just reviewed this yesterday and can confirm that the music video does not reference victim 1. Because individual 1 is Mr. Combs' longtime videographer, I had asked him to provide me with all videos he had access to victim 1, as these videos are responsive to request number 23 in the corporate records subpoena. He provided me with these videos on October 29, 2024. I produced 13 videos regarding victim 1, some depicting her and one depicting my client regarding her, to the government as part of our rolling subpoena compliance. On November 12, 2024, individual 1 contacted me and stated that the lead case agent approached him and that they were going to meet the next day. I instructed my client immediately to cease contact with individual 1. So that's the one where it was like the husband had been contacting him, I guess. And Diddy was ignoring his phone calls. Then suddenly he started, answering the phone calls. At first he was like, yeah, put him on read. Then when he found out it may be something to it, he decided to start answering his phone calls. That's what it sounds like, that person. BOP prison calls. It is my understanding that BOP inmate received 300 minutes of phone calls per month, with an additional 100 minutes per month in November and December. And then it got the rules up there. It is also my understanding and my experience based on phone calls with my client that calls are limited to 15 minutes in duration, and that the phone system allows inmates to make one call per hour. As I understand it, inmates will frequently use other inmates' minutes to allow for one more than one call in a 1 hour period, and 2 more phone calls once their 300 minutes expire. Didn't I tell y'all that? Are y'all getting y'all defense from over here on my channel? Because that's what I said. ContactMeASAP.com. After Mr. Combs was incarcerated, the government advised me that they were aware of many contraband cellular devices in the MDC and asked if I would change Mr. Combs' iCloud password. I agreed. To date, I have been unable to do so, but have represented to the prosecutors that Mr. Combs does not have, nor does he use, contraband cellular devices. So somebody mentioned cell phones in there. They're saying their client, Mr. Combs, does not use cell phones. ContactMeASAP.com and prison calls have been monitored, recorded, and reviewable by SIS officers at the MDC. These communications, with the exception of legal video teleconference, have subsequently been produced to the government. Since Mr. Combs has been incarcerated, I have been aware of his use of Contact Me ASAP. It's burning. Though I did not have understanding that it was unauthorized, I have spoken multiple times with an administrator of this website and confirmed that this method of communication utilized the Bureau of Prisons TrueLink's CoreLink system that was monitored by BOP officials. We are unable to monitor every message Mr. Combs sends and receives. My understanding has now been verified through the government's discovery because we have received Mr. Combs' contact ASAP messages. I don't know why my eyes burn. Excuse me, guys. Excuse me. Jesus. The government never instructed me to refrain from having him use this service, nor has the BOP. Mr. Combs is no longer using it anyway because he was like, this is too much hassle. Then we get to the video evidence from the Intercontinental Hotel. On November 13, 2024, the government produced their sixth production of discovery to the defense, including in the production was blankety blank from the Intercontinental Hotel from March of 2016. Attached to this deck is Exhibit B, attached to the declaration as Exhibit C. I wonder if they're going to play this in the courtroom. I'm so mad I won't be there. On November 15th, I asked the government when they came into possession. The government replied that they came into possession of blank on August 7, 2024. Connor McCourt. On November 15, 2024, we retained Connor McCourt. That's when you got money. You just retained an expert like 5 days ago. As an expert in connection with his retention on this matter, we provided with him a protective order entered in this case, Exhibit A-1 from the government's previous bail filings, and produced to us in discovery November 13, 2024. At my and my co-counsel's direction, Mr. McCourt created the video attached to this declaration as Exhibit D, comparing Exhibit A, one of the government's bail response. So they were comparing the videos, whoever this expert is. So that is in this person's declaration. What y'all got to say? Andrea said, why hasn't she been able to change the password? I don't know. The cell phone in the BOP is fact for real. That's in like every jail. They have, and it's considered contraband. People think it's drugs, but no, cell phones are considered contraband. Pam, do you think that court-appointed attorneys have the client's best interest in heart? Some of them do. I think a lot of them are overworked and underpaid. But I have some good friends that do court-appointed all the time, and I think they do great work. E-Baby said his own kids scared of him, so I know his workers and friends are. Thank you so much. Early Morning Vibes say you are a smart attorney. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Is this Diddy's paperwork, lawyer's paperwork, or the prosecutor? This is Diddy's. I have we went over the government's as well. We went over Diddy's original stuff. I'll probably just pin it to the end of the video just in case you guys missed it. Imagine if he gets by, nobody going to talk. He a real threat. They scared to talk while in jail. It don't seem like it, child. Some of these people been talking for years. Just nobody paid them any attention, right? You had Aubrey O'Day been talking for decades. Gene Deal been talking forever. Mark, is it Curry? He's been talking for, it's a lot of Wendy Williams. She been talking forever, telling you probably at least 50% of what we done heard. Because remember, he got her fired from her job. They basically, from my understanding, he said, you ain't gonna work in my town. And he literally ran her out of New York, where I think she had to go to Philly or something and go to the radio station, because he told them he was never gonna let them play his music. And he was that guy, and all his artists were that guy back in that time. So they had moved her or whatever. And eventually, before she got off the air, they had their kumbaya and they ended up being cool. But you could still tell that she was being very careful with the conversations when he came on her show. And so people have been saying it for years. Some people just don't care what the backlash and repercussion is. And Wendy Williams is one of those. Okay, so this is Cassie's fault. Was she being held against her will or just threatened? I thought she tried to leave several times and it wasn't successful. They're alleging the video shows something different. So I don't know. We haven't seen the whole video, so we don't know. We only saw the little clip that came out. That's why I said, dang, I wish I was there now, because then I could try to look. But from my understanding, I know the last bail hearing, they said a lot of reporters were scared that they wasn't going to get in because the courtroom is smaller than what was before with the new judge. And so people were fighting to get in. So I'm not from there. They'll probably be like, man, why are you here? Who do you represent? I wouldn't put money on my phone, so he'd have to use an alternate route. I become single when they become inmates. You know what, Diddy's baby oil? You are hilarious. Right. Grace, Mercy, and Say said if you don't dress right, they will talk bad about. They sure will. I remember one time, child, and I probably told this before, so you guys might have heard it. Just indulge me. But I remember coming out from the rain, right? So I had a little weave in my hair or whatever. It ain't because I ain't had no hair. I just don't like doing it. So my little edges, they got a little frizzy. I was in the rain. I had my real hair out all the time. So it got a little frizzy. Man, the way this girl over there tried to roast me, I was going through like the attorney line. And she over there, when you're in the attorney line, you just kind of walk up. She was over in the other line. I'm walking up. She's like, oh my God. And that's an attorney? I wouldn't want nobody to represent me with their hair and their edges looking like that. Now I hear while I'm walking through here, girl, I'm like, ma'am, are you a defendant or you here to somebody's girlfriend? Either way, you over there in that line needing support. So you shouldn't even be worried about over here. You should be worried about whether you or your man going to jail. Everybody was over there laughing. I was like, listen here, you're not going to sit up there and roast me trying to, loud. Everybody was giggling like, oh, yep, she got her about them edges. I was like, so yeah, they will try to go. They'll come after you either way. They get mad at you because they say you made your money off of the demons when you represent people. And then when you look any old kind of way, let your shoes. And a lot of times, like I have my own website, but oftentimes because of how a lot of times with these websites, your mail will go to spam. I still be using my little Gmails and stuff all the time too. So they try to talk about that. I'm like, I have a whole website. You can literally go to my website if you want to. I still take I get a lot of people that inquire about using my services and all of that. So yeah, they'll try to base it on superficial type stuff instead of see you in there doing your thing. They like, look at their shoes. Their shoes are run over to the right. Or you going to jail. If you got shoes like them, if your lawyer got them type of shoes, you going to jail. And you hear them say stuff like that about people. It's like, you said you just our channel by Angie said I just fell out the bushes. Well, welcome to the light. You said go sit in the proceedings, fam. You can stay in Jersey. I got you. Thank you so much, unapologetically, Alicia. If I didn't have a hearing in the morning, I would. Because actually, I'll drive to that mud. I've driven there all night to go to one of them hearings for Whitehead. I was like, oh, you talked about me last night? I'm there. Pack up, fam. We going to New York. Because, my husband is from New Jersey. So. They worry about the wrong thing, Kelly. They were on my neck. I was like, oh, okay, all right. You must not know I used to be in the lunchroom too, roasting people. Don't play with me. Okay. By the time it was over, they was like, is she really a lawyer? That was kind of ghetto how she responded. Listen. But that's it. All right, y'all. We've been on here for a couple of hours. That is the latest update on Diddy. Unless something great happens again, I'm for real. I might be done this time. But tomorrow I'm going to be back. I'm sure the one guy who I follow who is in the courtroom, the reporter from Twitter, we can probably get on and try to follow the tweets and all of that stuff. Because if he get bond, I would want to be there if he got bond. If he actually gets bonded out tomorrow, what y'all gonna do if he gets bonded out tomorrow? How are you guys gonna act? You guys gonna be pissed? Are you guys gonna get a drink? Are you guys gonna celebrate? Like, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do if he gets bonded out tomorrow? What do you think? What do you think? I'm gonna have to come back and console you guys if he gets bonded out. I already know my night on Friday. We just gonna have to have we're gonna have a purge session up in the membership because I'm gonna let everybody tell what's on their heart because I know y'all gonna be pissed. Whew. But we need justice to prevail. That's it. We just want fair is fair, right is right. That's what we want. We want the law to be abided by, and we want it to be fair and equitable to every defendant. That's what we want. Well, that's what I want. Some of y'all don't want that, but that's what I want. Said I'm gonna pluck my eyes out. There's going to be anarchy. Yeah, Dev is from Plainfield, New Jersey. Considering the offense might have lied to the court, I doubt. What if the how are you saying the defense lied to the court? Do we have evidence of that? What if it's the government that lied? Huh? Have you thought of that about that? No, you don't care? All right. We're gonna need, I got you. I'm gonna prepare my night where we're gonna talk about this thing. I'm not gonna let you guys go away. I'll be the counselor part of being an attorney and counselor. I'll be the counselor tomorrow. I'm gonna go about my black business. Yes. That's good. You're not that invested. That's good. That's good. That's good. He said, if the Abercrombie guy got out, why not Diddy? They're going to have to come with information as to what the difference is. The judge did tell them that. You need to come in to let us know why Abercrombie got out, but y'all think Diddy doesn't deserve to get, even though it was in the Eastern District and this is the Southern District, but it's still New York. And that guy lives in Florida, because I want to say he's at his home in Florida right now as well. Okay, Angela, I already know what the accusation is. However, they have to explain it. Now, what if their explanation is, we don't know what the government did with their photos? Well, the government didn't take the photos. It's actually the investigator one that has been monitoring Diddy's calls is the one that took the photos. So all they got to do is say something is wrong with these pictures. What if they got their forensic person to look at the pictures and say the pictures are altered? We just don't know in this case. We got to sit back and we have to see. Okay? We got to sit back and see, all right? All right. Just relax. Y'all hit that like button while you relax. And let me make sure I ain't miss nobody's. I did do that one. Let me make sure I click on everybody again. Thank you guys again for all of the super chat. Diddy, okay, I did do that one. Okay. I think that's all of them. All right, yep, I got all of them. Thank you again for all the super chats and welcome to all the new members. But I'm out of here. Unless something else happens, I'll be right back sitting here and we'll be talking. I'll be trying to convince y'all to be fair and unbiased. But until then, go watch that little video clip they're talking about, because that's what I'm about to do now. I'll talk to you guys next time.